What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews, exclusively here as always on the Casa D18 Studios channel. I, of course, am your host, the Renegade JJ Williams. It is Saturday, which means it is new release Saturday, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Netflix documentary Untold: Jake Paul, the Problem Child, starring Jake Paul, Logan Paul, Greg Paul, John Fury, Tommy Fury, Tyson Fury, KSI, Deji, Ariel Helwani, and Mike Tyson. What's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining me here once again for another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews. As I said in the introduction, it's Saturday, which means it's new release Saturday, and today we're going to discuss a Netflix original documentary entitled Untold: Jake Paul, the Problem Child. And this documentary is an unflinching deep dive into how a wide eyed kid from Ohio morphed into being an internet sensation and then transitioned into being one of the most polarizing men in professional sports. Now, for every high profile critic, like UFC President Dana White, there's another high profile supporter, like former professional boxer Iron Mike Tyson. You see, back in 2013, Jake and his older brother Logan lit up social media with pranks and antics that they posted first to Vine and then eventually evolved to a YouTube channel that racked up millions of views. We then learn how the brothers parlayed their online success into lucrative side hustles, with Jake releasing music and even landing a role on the Disney Channel TV series Bizaardvark. Unfortunately, as their notoriety grew, so did tensions between the once very close siblings. When Jake's real life controversies nearly ruined his career, he got a second chance as a boxer who shocked skeptics as he knocked out one opponent after another. Our documentary is built on interviews with Jake and Logan, as well as their parents, fans, fellow boxers, and the ever skeptical old guard of professional boxing. Our movie culminates with a nail biting match against Tommy Fury that will prove whether or not Jake has what it takes to rule his new kingdom in professional boxing as our documentary comes to its close. I will say that this documentary was very well put together. Prior to this, I only really knew Logan, and I only really knew him because of his involvement with the WWE, World Wrestling Entertainment. Yeah, I knew he had a brother. I knew his brother did professional boxing, but I just never really followed Jake Paul. I never followed Logan Paul until I started hearing about him within the confines of the WWE. So when I saw this documentary being presented, okay, gives me an opportunity to learn something about these guys. Because even though Jake is the main profile, you know there's going to be Logan stuff in here too. Gives me a chance to learn about the Paul brothers and why they are so loathed in professional media, period. And I'm watching this and I'm like, and I'm sure the documentary is presented to put a more positive spin on a negative person, someone who's got these negative connotations and the stigma about him. But man, Jake seemed like an okay dude for the most part. Like, yeah, he plays a particular character in the public eye, but as a wrestling fan, you kind of are used to that. You're used to the baby face and the heel and watching a guy that just can be a grade A prick when he needs to on the microphone, on a YouTube video, in a fight circumstance. And then once you get him behind closed doors, turns it off. And you can kind of admire that. The stuff that I really didn't know about Jake, or Logan for that matter, they made sure to stress the fact that they were abused by their father during their childhood, and how Logan feels that a lot of that helped define who Jake is today. And if that is all accurate, the abuse that they went through as a child, you can understand to a certain degree why both Jake and Logan are the way they are. They had to build these walls and this aura of toughness about them so that they wouldn't get abused anymore. Then you look at them just being brothers and making goofy videos and uploading them to YouTube. And I think about my days in college when I took TV classes and I literally wrote a SNL, all that inspired 30-minute sketch show with all kinds of different skits in them. Some of them I played characters in, other skits other people played characters in. And I'm thinking about this and I'm like, man, if I had those skits and could have uploaded them to social media, could I have been a Jake Paul? Because I was in college doing this stuff in like 1999, 2000. They didn't even do this for another 13 years. And while granted, YouTube wasn't a thing back then, if I still had that footage, those videos, when that stuff was starting to get popular, could I have had that kind of success and career? And then I think about the LBWA days, the old wrestling group that I used to belong to, the Long Beach Wrestling Alliance. And I think about the old episodes of Renegade of Wrestling and Dad's on Wrestling where we did little skits. We had the Lady Killer Ray Larkin and Jeff Meacham doing a Hulk Hogan Ultimate Warrior promo battle type of thing. We had one of my old LBWA brethren, a gentleman by the name of Robert, but he went by the gimmick name RTJ, ARTIEJ. And he had multiple gimmicks. Another one of his gimmicks was called Asylum. And Asylum popped into an episode of Dad's on Wrestling that we did live from Long Beach Clothing Company, just doing all kinds of random shenanigans in the background. As a matter of fact, if you go back to this past week's Throwback Thursday, that episode of Dad's on Wrestling aired this past week. So go back and check that out. And man, like, could we have blown up to another level if we had put more of our energy and our focus into that type of stuff? And I wonder, then you see him spin off to the Disney Channel, and like, I had no idea that either of the Paul brothers worked for Disney. And you see him kind of goofing around on Bizarrevark, and then how his life comes crashing down because all these controversies, and Disney lets him go. They cut ties with him. And that kind of spirals him into this boxing thing. And at first, it's just social media people that want to take a shot at him, other people on YouTube that think that Jake Paul is a pushover. So I want to take a shot at him. And that gets us to the first fight where it's Deji versus Jake Paul and KSI versus Logan Paul, or vice versa. Forgive me. And now knowing the history with KSI and Logan Paul, like, this is where that kind of really started to flourish and grow. And because of that, then he goes on this run of defeating professional athletes, even defeating Anderson Silva from the UFC, and just having to silence Dana White because Dana White's here talking all this massive shit about how Anderson Silva is a goat and Jake Paul is nothing. Jake Paul defeats him. And then we get to this huge battle against Tommy Fury, and I'm not going to spoil the result of it because I want you to either go watch the fight or watch the documentary. But the repercussions of this just seemed to ignite even more of a fire into Jake Paul, to where he just seems to be this unstoppable force now. And I'm not going to lie, I went into this not really knowing what to expect, other than the fact it was going to be a little over an hour and 15-minute documentary. I came out of this with mad respect for Jake Paul and more respect for Logan than I had already developed after watching him as an in-ring competitor for WWE. Because whether you want to like him or you want to hate him, you have to admit the fact that he has earned our respect with the people that he has competed against, getting into the ring on a somewhat regular basis in professional wrestling. Jake Paul's just doing it in legitimate sports as a boxer. That's really the only difference between the Paul brothers right now. I was thoroughly entertained by this. When it comes to my rating for this documentary, I'm gonna give it 4.5 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. And if you are a fan of Jake Paul, if you're a fan of Logan Paul, if you're a fan of social media influencers, professional boxing, I highly recommend that you give this a look, and it might help to change your mind and your opinion on the problem child, Jake Paul. What do you guys think of Untold, Jake Paul, the problem child? Let me know. If you're watching the premiere, leave your thoughts and comments over here. If you're watching on demand later in the day, leave your thoughts and comments down here. Let's have that conversation, that discussion, that debate, that interaction that I'm always asking you guys for in the comments below. And make sure you guys stay tuned in at the top of the hour, right here to the Casa D18 Studios channel, the Jeff Meacham Network, and across the Jeff Meacham Network Multiverse Media, as we bring to you our WWE Watch Along coverage of Payback, beginning at 4 o'clock Pacific, 7 o'clock Eastern. Myself and the Simple Man Noah Foster will be on the call, handling the play-by-play commentary, giving our live reactions, and so much more as the WWE superstars look for Payback. And then, of course, that'll be followed immediately by Open Mic Night. The Saturday night shenanigans are back in full effect, and have we got a doozy for you guys this week? We are going to be discussing in detail CM Punk versus the World, going all the way back to Heyman Adam Page's shoot promo, which led to All Out 2022, which led to Brawl Out, which led all the way to All In just a week ago, and all the stops in between. We are going to do a deep dive like nobody else has yet, to my knowledge. So make sure you guys tune in for that. And then on Sunday, right back here on the Casa D18 Studios channel, the Jeff Meacham Network, and across the Jeff Meacham Network Multiverse Media, it'll be time for another watch along event as AEW attempts to go all out in Chicago. The Simple Man Noah Foster, the Heeb Man James Hebert will be on the call for this one as they give their live reactions and play-by-play commentary as AEW invades Chicago and attempts once again to go all out. And then back on Monday, right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel, will be another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews. And we get back to normal. We're going to discuss The Graduate, starring Anne Bancroft, Dustin Hoffman, Buck Henry, Catherine Ross, William Daniels, Elizabeth Wilson, Murray Hamilton, and Norman Fell. You don't want to miss out on any of that content right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel, the Jeff Meacham Network, and across the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiversa Media. We've got Payback Watch Along. We've got Open Mic Night. We've got an all-out watch along. And then we've got The Graduate coming your way on Monday. Again, you don't want to miss any of it. So make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure that notification bell is turned on so you don't miss out anytime a video drops right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel or anytime we go live, as is the case with Statboy Sports Bar, Open Mic Night, pay-per-view PLE watch-along coverage, etc. Share these videos with your family, friends, loved ones, coworkers, movie fanatics, cinephiles in your life, fans of professional sports, fans of documentaries, fans of boxing, fans of social media influencers, fans of Jake Paul, Logan Paul, KSI, anybody you can think of that would enjoy this content in this video. Share it with them, as it's the only way we're going to keep my visibility up in YouTube's algorithms now that we are in fact a monetized channel right here on the platform. Thank you once again to everybody out there who joined me and tuned in today. It means so much more to me than you guys will ever know. I will see you guys next time.
And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.